Beginning resynchronization.
Hello and welcome to Resync, a podcast where friends talk about games. I'm Sam.
My boy. I'm Chase, and today we have a special guest.
Hello, everybody. My name's Kelly.
Welcome.
Thank you guys so much for having me. I'm really excited to be here.
Yeah, we're excited to have you.
Yeah, first guest.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
That's rad. I'm going to go down in history as the first guest on Resync, a podcast where friends talk about games.
True.
Did you know that?
We did.
That's awesome.
We decided it.
Big thank you to you for letting me and Sam join you and Ryan for some Peak gameplay.
Yeah, we were super happy to have you. We've really been having a good time with Peak lately. I really like how they update the maps daily. So it's like, even though it's the same game, it could be easier one day. It could be super fucked one day.
Yeah, randomized maps is good for replayability.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was probably like my biggest thing, because the first couple days when I had bought it, I was playing a lot of solo.
Oh, yeah.
And I was definitely running into mountains that I was like, I need a hand to get up the only pass that I can find here. So being able to just go, well, it'll be better tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so I don't know what it is about Peak. I love it.
Mm-hmm.
Just from the load-in being the actual plane crash to start out your journey of making this climb up the mountain, using the different things that they have, whether like the batons, being able to set like a little safety spike in the wall while you're climbing up to hold on to. I love it.
Yeah, a climbing game using similar mechanics to like Breath of the Wild, but like in this really whimsical style is very fun.
Yeah, well, like very unique itemization choices, like rope cannons are fun, or even my personal favorite, the anti-rope.
Anti-rope, yeah.
Or my personal favorite, the flying disc.
I also like the change in biome as you go. That's a nice touch.
Nice little change of scenery, if you will.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Changes the different like hazards.
I also like, yes, they have the fog to kind of like rise up and keep you guys pushing up the mountain. But I also like their incentive to stay together and not just outpace each other.
Yeah.
Yes.
The Scoutmaster coming to whip you right back down the mountain.
I had never experienced that before, and so I actually damned my friend Cody once accidentally. Because for those who have never experienced this before, if you get far enough away from your friends, if you don't read the Scoutmaster's journal on the beach, if you get far away enough from your friends, a little Scoutmaster skeleton will appear to whoever is furthest up the mountain, and he will hurt you and hurt you bad.
I didn't read that, and I just stayed with my friends because I wanted to.
Well, I had to be AFK for a little while, and I told my friend Cody, I was like, oh, you go ahead, I'll catch up. I should not have done that to him, because he definitely got thrown back down the mountain by the skeleton Scoutmaster.
Nice.
See, well, I'm not gonna lie. I'm still yet to actually meet the Scoutmaster.
Yeah, I haven't. I didn't even know that was a thing. You guys just let me know.
He's scary. He is scary looking.
When we were all playing the other day, I'm not gonna lie, I think it was as we were coming out of the tropics, I got to the campfire and I didn't realize the campfire tells you how far you are from your people. I'm going to guess there's also a time limit tied to the distance you are, because I believe the distance the devs have said is like 200 meters is how far you have to be to start like risking his appearance. I was like 250 meters away from you guys.
Oh.
I immediately beelined back because I was like, oh no.
I'm in danger.
Yeah, but we made it all the way to the summit, and we survived, all but my boy.
I was about to say, well, Some of us made it all the way to the top.
I made a worthwhile sacrifice, I'd like to
You
think.
you were the one who made it possible for us to get up there. Your death was not in vain.
I
Okay.
sacrificed my body to drop the rope.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I was about to say, hey, I have a confession to make. I know we've been talking about how Chase has made a sacrifice this whole time. I don't think I know what you even did. I think I just looked away and then you were dead.
Well, he put the rope up for us.
I was gonna say, yeah, I was the one. I was making those risky climbs, and then caught the rope from Ryan, and I ended up too close to the lava rock, just eating the heat while I was lowering it for you guys, and I got it planted right before I ran out, and then just plummeted.
Yeah. And then there was no way for him to get back up with the lack of stamina that he then had.
And I just gave a salute and dropped into the lava.
Wait, but didn't I res him didn't I res you?
Yeah,
You did, and then we had another situation where I climbed up. We made a little bit of progress, and then I tried to scout the next path and had just short energy, and then I fell right above the lava. So I just watched you guys go, and
even a little toot from the trumpet didn't save you.
I do remember that.
Ryan was coming in clutch with those.
I
the
love
friendship toots.
I didn't realize that you could just the quick little tap of it would give you a full stamina bar again.
my favorite thing to do when you're in the heat of the moment, freaking out on peak, about to lose stamina and fall to your death, is that when someone has the friendship horn, in my friend group, we all just go, fart! I need a fart!
Said somebody shit on me right now!
Yeah.
Wait, would the shit help or hinder?
It could go either way. Maybe it would add viscosity, or
Ew.
if you've had nothing but nuts, maybe it'd be a little thick.
Oh, like when a dog eats birdseed?
Yeah.
Oh no, we've made it to this point, huh?
Said,
I'm
hey,
here. What did you expect?
I said I was
Talking about
throwing
shit.
down rope for you guys to climb. I didn't say where it was coming from.
All right, but yeah, we got a good session of peek in together, and it got us thinking about the
Not so popular term going around right now of Friendslop.
yeah, and games that fall into that category and all things related.
Let me say what that category really means to us as individuals too, because I'd love to know before we drop the technical bound consensus on what it means. Is what do you guys picture when you get oh, let's play a Friendslop game?
I think you were the first person that I heard the term Friendslop from, which is one of today's topics. And I immediately kind of understood what it was. I didn't have the derogatory connotation that it seems like the internet has connected to it. I just thought, oh, that's a funny name for fun multiplayer games. But I understood what it was. What was the question again?
So what comes to mind if I were to be oh man, let's just hop on some Friendslop?
Oh, I feel like the wave of this genre really kicked off with Lethal Company. And then there was just a bunch of games that came out after that were very similarly designed, where it was very focused on quick multiplayer gameplay. Most of the time, I feel like I'm expecting a proximity chat and just gameplay that entails rounds with not much progression, but a lot of possible hijinks.
Okay.
I have to be completely honest. I had never even heard of the term Friendslop until maybe half an hour ago. And I think I would probably say it's just hey, let's me and 3 or more friends, let's all get together and mess around on this game. It's pretty low stakes, pretty high shenanigans, and let's just be stupid assholes together.
Yeah.
I'd
See,
say that's fairly accurate.
and so kind of you brought up, you hadn't heard it until I brought it up to you, and you, that's pretty much same thing, hadn't heard it until I threw it out there. To me, when I first heard the term, it to me same thing, okay, I immediately recognized oh, this is talking about Lethal Company games in that style, where it's just friends getting around and you're being silly. You're doing silly stuff and cutting the legs out from under your own teammates at times, and just doing things for the laughs. It's a game of giggles.
A little goof.
Little goofy.
A game of goofs.
Such as continuously throwing a flying disc at someone in peak and watching them crumple to the ground and then pointing and laughing.
or playing keep away with the disc so Kelly couldn't get it when we were playing.
Learning that some people can't be trusted with certain items.
Okay.
And then Ryan secretly throwing it off the cliff when we were climbing.
No, you said you lost it.
I lost it. I didn't throw it. Ryan
You
did.
little liar.
I never lie.
I
gave it to Chase. Chase gave it to Ryan. Ryan threw it off the cliff.
God
the
damn
true
it.
series of events. So I was surprised when I looked up for like the generalized internet's consensus on what Friendslop is. And like you said, I mean, it seems to have a derogatory connotation of a term for games with like short dev times and like almost seems like a new take on like streamer bait as like a term for games.
Okay.
Which I'm just going to go ahead and say I like the term Friendslop. I think it's a silly little term to like throw around for a game. I heavily disagree with the derision that it has of like, I think Lethal Company and Content Warning, Repo, Headliners, those tend to be lumped together as like a key example of Friendslop because it's like, oh, well, it's just a different, like the same game in a different skin. Which I would argue in my like hands-on experiences for at least 3 out of those games, they all do something unique with it.
Yeah.
That, I mean, it sets it apart to where like, if we're going to play a game, I know whether it's I'm not really feeling Lethal Company, but I will play Repo.
Yeah.
I'm feeling Content Warning. Like
They all have a different gimmick.
Exactly.
Not in a bad way, I mean.
And so more context for those games, kind of like Content Warning, Lethal Company, Repo, for anyone who like knows of them or maybe even doesn't necessarily know of them. The kind of overarching goal of those games is to acquire a certain amount of money, certain amount of views to be able to progress to the next level. And it's kind of a situation where it's like you don't win. Or if you do, I've never gotten past the threshold that allows you to win. It's kind of just like you keep going until you cannot keep going.
I really don't even think there is a successful end.
Can you imagine if there is like a
hidden
hit
ending.
day 50 in Lethal Company or
That sounds
Content Warning, and it's like, all right, you've
awful.
officially made it.
But
The
yeah.
company is proud of you.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it's just you go until you can't acquire the threshold anymore. But
Art imitates life. You go until you die.
oh god.
So
That's
too true. Just chasing the money to make sure your bills are paid.
Oh,
Yeah.
God.
Content Warning, especially, I think, because I know Headliners, I believe, takes on pretty much the exact same like scenario to a degree.
Yeah.
But even then, is still different in the gameplay loop of you're running around the streets and just working as like a news organization, trying to like, oh, what's going on? Whereas Content Warning, every time I've played it, that for me is let's play YouTube Simulator of.
Yeah.
Oh, guys, check this out. Oh, my God, look at that thing.
Yeah.
I love Content Warning. I think out of all of those themed games, Content Warning is probably either my favorite or an extremely close second to Repo.
Yeah, I would say that's probably my ranking, too, which, no disrespect to Lethal Company, it's really good. I've loved playing it with friends. I've loved saying, all right, on this trip, we really have to lock in.
Yeah.
And then immediately throwing myself off the ship and killing myself because I'm
Yeah,
not paying enough attention.
That was a banger.
That was a banger.
I definitely I feel like with Lethal specifically, I ran out of steam on that one quicker than the others.
I think, and we've definitely talked about, I don't do good with games where you can't fight back.
Yeah.
And you definitely can. I mean, I'm not above smashing somebody with a stop sign
Yeah.
in Lethal.
You don't automatically have a way to fight back.
Yeah. And so that is probably why that's not like my go-to out of those games. I'm not going to lie. It's not like the scariest game in the world, but I mean, you get those tense moments where you're alone in a facility. You know, you came in with a group, you've separated, you can't hear them anywhere anymore, and you're just pitch black. Where do I go?
Yeah. You don't know if they're even
Guys?
alive anymore.
Yeah.
They could be all in the dead chat just listening to you on your own.
Oh my God. I feel so validated right now because I fear that I hate Lethal Company.
Oh, wow.
I do not
Strong
like it.
words.
I know. I tried for a very long time to like it because I love playing games with my friends. I love the shenanigans that come from multiplayer games like that. But Lethal Company specifically, I don't know exactly what it is. I've really thought about it. I've tried to place exactly what it is about it that I do not like. I can't seem to quite place it, which is so strange because when I say that, like, I hate Lethal Company, I fear I mean that genuinely. Like, when I say, like, oh, like, I love Content Warning, I love Repo, I do genuinely love those games, and I have a very strong dislike for Lethal Company, which is interesting because they're all within the same category, and I mean, like you guys said, they're kind of same game in a different skin with slightly different gimmicks. And there's just something about Lethal Company that does not resonate with me. It just pisses me off.
Oh, wow. I know me and Kelly just kind of talked about it with both preferring Content Warning to some of the others. What do you think your order of those games is?
Oh, yeah.
I think mine would probably be Lethal Company is also probably the bottom of the list for me now that all these other games have come out and put, in my opinion, like a more sticky twist on that like genre of game that keeps me coming back to it. Like I think, you know, with the release of Peak is probably my favorite one out of these types of games. And then Repo would be my second after Peak. And then Content Warning and Lethal Company are kind of like neck and neck for me. Especially using mods for Lethal Company, that really elevates it because I don't think that game would have as much longevity for me if it did not have such a robust modding scene.
Yeah.
So that brings me to a question for you guys, because I know that I said, like, I don't know, I just don't care about Lethal Company that much, and I could not quite put my finger on it. Can you guys? That's my question, because...
Well, you don't like it. I like it. I just don't like playing it that much.
My question, I guess, though, is what is it about Lethal Company that kind of puts it on the bottom of that list?
For me, it is probably similar to you, Chase, that the fighting back part of it is not really built into it very much. Like, you have to have a specific item to be able to protect yourself. I also think that at least it feels like it was the start of this kind of like the style of game, and I feel like the games that came after it kind of iterated a little more interestingly.
Yeah, I'd agree because I have two things that make these games different enough from Lethal for me to have them be like drawing me back in more.
Mm-hmm.
Repo, I really like at the end of every run getting to beat the hell out of my friends.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so valid.
I demand to be king loser.
True.
So I really liked that aspect being added on. I mean, alongside like I think the physics of like carrying things in Repo adds a lot more to the gameplay that like Lethals, you know, you're picking like things up and the heaviness of them impacts like, oh, am I going to be able to outrun this? And
Yeah.
but it's a very much less involved than Repo is in that way. And I think Content Warning, I've talked about this with friends that I've played it with. I think what it really has going for it that Lethal doesn't is, despite being a roguelike, it has absolutely like no real benefit to your like runs, but you can still like unlock things permanently for like your
Yes.
hub.
There
you
is
still have
a
a
progression.
goal. Yes, there's something to work towards, whereas like Lethal, and I mean even Repo does still have this aspect to it, which I mean it's just part of the game, but is, I mean, when a run's done,
You
no
full
matter
reset.
yeah, like no matter like whether it was a good run, a bad run, it's you're right back into the okay, I'm starting completely over. There's no benefit to me or my profile, or like I continue to have nothing to like show for it. But I mean that
Yes.
also goes in line with kind of tends to be the name of the game for like roguelikes like that.
But Lethal Company is definitely like a game that is experienced in the moment, and you're not
Yeah.
necessarily like, oh, I can't wait to get into Lethal Company to do that next thing. It's like, oh, what kind of wacky shit are we going to end up experiencing in Lethal Company, and who's going to get killed first?
That's exactly what it is. That is exactly what it is, Chase, because for me, with Lethal Company, I'm like, okay, because I'm notoriously terrified in these games. I'm always the girl who is running away from the monsters. The only time I think I have ever showed any sense of bravery is when I was playing Content Warning with my friends Ryan and Casey, and we had the paddles that revive your friends if they die, and they had both died, and we had like so much film left on the camera, so we were nowhere close to being able to leave the level. Both of my friends were dead, and I was terrified by myself, monsters surrounding my little spawn point. And I said, if this game is going to be any fun, I cannot just sit in my cowardice. I have to go save my friends. And then I sprinted back into the map, sprinted past all the monsters, used my revive paddles, and revived both of my friends, all while screaming, "Get the fuck up! Get the fuck up!"
Yeah, well, and like kind of touching back on like what you just brought up, Sam, like Lethal is very much more about like the in the moment gameplay. And I would say, I think Content Warning very much is too. And that's why I say like none of the things that you can like work towards are like, oh, this is going to make the next run better.
Yeah.
It just adds things like getting to jump on a trampoline before you go into the run, or getting to, instead of like rewatching, because my favorite aspect of Content Warning is the recordings that you do to like earn your views, which is like your threshold goal to meet for the next level, is you actually get to rewatch all the footage, like a silly little found footage film. And one of my favorite unlocks is normally when you are first starting the game, there's a house in the hub area where you all like wake up and end your days, and you all join in on the couch to turn on your videos.
Yeah.
But eventually you can get a little outdoor movie studio under the tree and go watch that.
The big projector screen.
Yes.
Oh, it's fucking awesome. It's rad.
Being able to buy, Lethal Company has an aspect of this that the first time I played it, I was really like disappointed to find out didn't stick
that
around.
It goes away, yeah. Like with the teleporter and.
Well, is not even that, because I could understand not wanting to keep those things, because that does impact like how the run goes, or like maybe the ease you hit it with. But Content Warning has hats you can buy. And Lethal Company allows you to purchase like the hazard suit. But those all go away.
Yeah.
And offer no actual benefits, to my knowledge, towards the gameplay. So
I don't know.
like,
the bunny suit makes a boing noise when you jump. So
okay,
that's a pretty
thing.
good
That's a
benefit if you ask me.
But is like that's something the first time I played Lethal, I was like, oh, we don't keep that.
Yeah.
I spent credits on that. Like those could have been for like other stuff that I knew wouldn't last. Like,
yeah. Well, and I think what I said earlier about how some of these other games are more sticky, the games where like you unlock stuff, like Content Warning, how you can unlock stuff that will stay throughout multiple different runs. I think that one is the only game in this list that does that. I don't know if Repo has any things that you can unlock permanently.
No, I think you're right.
Yeah.
I believe you're correct.
But I think that that element of, the moment-to-moment gameplay being the driving force behind the game is true for most of these games. But with Content Warning having that like unlock structure, and like I think Repo just having a different execution that makes it feel like more interesting to jump back into for me, especially with Repo, you're able to fight back from the first moment. Anytime you can pick an item up, you can swing it at an enemy.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So like that's nice. You can pick up your friends when they crouch. You can throw your friends. You can pick them up in the air and keep them there.
You can pick up your friend and hold them in front of the shotgun guy and then scream so he fires at your friends.
You can do a lot of funny stuff. And I feel like Lethal Company is kind of just the most stripped down version of this kind of game, because it was like
the first
first thing that kind of kicked off this whole new genre. But I also think that Peak has taken this idea of the moment-to-moment gameplay being like really the draw, and it's given each run a definitive end. Which is really nice, which is something that's going to keep me coming back to Peak way more than I would go back to playing any of the other games, because you have a definitive goal.
Yeah, and you can win.
You can win.
Absolutely.
And that's huge. Like, it's fun to go for rounds and rounds and rounds and for it to get more and more difficult to hit quota. But at a certain point, like, what's the goal?
Yeah.
Well, it's quite literally like, I mean, you get that shot of dopamine for like the win. And like if you lose, there's like also a definitive lose, and not just a, oh, you're back to day one to serve the company.
Yeah.
You're like, oh man, I gotta start all over. I'm gonna get to the top of the mountain this time. Okay, I know exactly where not to step this time on today's map in Peak. I'm not gonna fall into the rising lava, and this time I'm gonna jump to the very top of the mountain.
Yeah, I also really like that you unlock the patches.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah.
Like, unlocking the patches, you know, I guess it could be thought of as similar to how Content Warning has the stuff that you can unlock permanently, but like more of just like an achievement book.
Yeah.
I
Well,
like that they show up on your characters.
Yes.
Going back to physical appearances changing from
Yes.
items.
Well, and it's funny that you bring that up, because I didn't even make that connection, but that's such a like another good point about why I think I liked Content Warning, and why very different like games, but still like considered Friendslop. I enjoy Peak's like customization.
Yeah.
Like you do certain things, you unlock new
Yes.
hats, you unlock new outfits, and I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I was the first one out of like any of my friends that had cleared the mountain.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't remember if it was for my first clear of the mountain or my first lone wolf clear. But I got the Scoutmaster's like hat and his like more brown uniform.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
I was wearing that on every run, like getting people to the top for the first couple times. So it was like, I am your Scoutmaster. I will
Yeah.
help you.
Servant's like, oh, Chase, where did you get that? And you're like, oh, you know, I did it by myself.
I'm a professional.
Yeah, having some kind of customization that also lends to unlockables is definitely gonna bring me back more often
Yeah.
to a game like Peak and a game
Yeah.
of similar.
And something, well, and then that's a really good point, too, that I hadn't even considered, is that's absolutely something I need that Lethal Company does not give me, is like something to show aside from hours played on Steam for all the time and effort you have put into this game.
Yeah.
Like in Content Warning, it's the permanent unlockables outside. So like for
Like the
example,
hub.
yes, for example, I've spent money, like in-game money from victories that I've had in Content Warning on the big pool and the projector screen, and those are always a blast. And then in Peak, you know, like you guys said, all the patches that you get on your sash, and something that I really like,
And the outfits that you can unlock.
and the outfits you can unlock. Something I really like about the patches that you can put on your little Boy Scout sash in Peak is like they're directly related to achievements that you've gotten on different runs. And I like that the diversity of them is not just like, you completed this in under an hour, you speedrunner, you. It's
You've
also
climbed 5,000 meters. You've climbed 10,000 meters.
Yeah,
You've
there's-
climbed 15,000 meters.
And it's so funny to have like direct awards and achievements related to like your friends escaped without you. You died 4 times on this run.
I was gonna say, yeah, it's so funny to me. One of my first clear of the mountain was my lone wolf run, and then I successfully got 2 other groups to the top. Me and Sam almost made it to the top.
Yeah, on my first game, we almost made it together.
And then playing with you guys the other day, I got an achievement that I didn't have yet.
Oh.
And it's for being the only one to die while you guys all escaped. I got the left behind achievement.
Awesome.
That's really funny.
Yeah, and I got an achievement that I didn't have from that run too. I got the achievement "Don't lose consciousness at all," which is really hard for me to do. And I was like, I didn't lose consciousness in all this run.
I got the chef patch
That
for,
one's fun.
for our run.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's just something about feeding other people or cooking food.
It's like cooking 20 cookable items at the fire or something like that. Yeah.
I'm working on it. I want the mushroom hat. I am a good mycologist. I know what all the poison mushrooms on the mountain look like. I just have not had a run yet where I've been able to get a good mushroom of every type. Something to work towards.
Yeah, I have no idea what I know that the red berries and the yellow berries are safe. I don't have a gosh dang clue what other food items are safe that are around. I know bananas is a yellow long berry.
Yeah.
I think the bananas are good.
Yeah.
The
Some of
yellow
them are
ones,
bad.
I'm going to say brown bananas are, I mean, I don't know
Oh.
how I figured this out. It should have just been nature's way of warning me, but brown banana is not good.
I didn't know
Newsflash.
there were brown bananas.
Yeah, there are also purple ones
Oh, interesting.
and
I know
pink ones.
I know the pink ones are not good, right? Oh wait.
I don't know.
I would like to return to the discussion of Friendslop, if I may.
Yeah, we need to figure out what we all feel about that.
Yeah, so because I thought that was really interesting, and I'm gonna probably sound like a super word nerd here. I'm busting out the English major degree. Not really. But just like the connotation of the word slop definitely does have negative connotation. So I think it's really interesting that you're like, oh, I like this. I think it's a fun little sorry, let me clarify. I think that you, Chase, since our listeners cannot see me wildly gesturing towards you, I think it's really interesting that you're like, yeah, I like this term. I think it's a fun little term to describe these games. Whereas I definitely took it as like negative connotation the first time you said it, because the word slop to me just sounds like inherently not nice.
Yeah.
Like slop in my brain, I'm like, oh, that means trash, like shitty poo-poo trash. So the term friend slop to me, while I'm not like inherently offended by other people being like, oh, you play friend slop games, if someone were to say that to me, I would be like, hell yeah, I do. Like, but I wouldn't be like, you guys want to play some friend slop tonight? Because I feel like that's just like, it sounds not nice, and I don't like it.
See, when I heard it for the first time, after I heard it, I was like, oh, I know exactly what this is. And now I think of it as like, oh, I'm going to sidle up to the trough.
Oh,
I'm going to
that's
sidle up
funny.
to the trough and eat my fill of friend slop.
See, well, and I'm glad that you like brought it back to like what it means and like that, because I want your guys' opinion on this. Anybody using the term friend slop as like a derogatory, like, oh, that's friend slop, instead of like, oh, like, well, it's friend slop.
Say that again? It's
It's friend slop.
friend slop.
Friend slop. Friend slop. It's so reductive because, like I said, the definition that I've seen online that is like most people tend to agree with is like, oh, it's like essentially a copy paste of another game, short dev cycle. It's like, oh, it's pretty much just a cash grab.
Mhm.
The games that I've seen it applied to, I would not say are just clone cash grabs, because as you have both like talked about, is Lethal Company is the first of like this style of game when it comes to like repo, content warning, headliners, but it's the most pared down version.
Yeah. Well,
And
I also believe that could have just been luck of how, in terms of the development cycle of some of these games, Repo could have been in production before Lethal even came out.
Absolutely.
We don't even know.
Exactly. So like, you have these games that people are saying like, oh, it's a cash grab clone, but I mean, look at Repo. We enjoy Repo. At this point, I'd say I've gone back to Repo more than I have Lethal.
Mm-hmm.
Content warning, I've played probably just as much as I have Repo. So like, it's very I feel bad for the devs behind these games, because it's an insult to them,
Yeah.
because even if, I mean, let's make this argument of what all of a sudden is the difference then between Call of Duty and Battlefield. Which one of those gets to be considered the original and which one's Friendslop? Because it's another military-based shooter. I mean, we already have one of those. You can't.
Yeah, just
It's a derivative.
That's an
Yeah.
excellent point.
just saying like anything derivative is Friendslop. I think also like Friendslop is more specifically like usually an indie game, usually meant to be played with
Yeah.
like a couple of friends, and usually meant to be like low stakes and repetitive.
Mm-hmm.
See, I mean, especially with that last thing, I could argue. I think every Call of Duty has been pretty much the same for the last 8 years.
I would just call Call of Duty slop, not
Oh.
Friendslop.
not Friendslop. No, I agree. But so, and especially like, again, like you just pointed out, like it is like generally like, I mean, you look at that Friendslops, that's an indie term, is like, that's why it should, in my opinion, like that's even more insulting of these are the people that are like, this isn't a big company. This is people who are trying to make something that, in my opinion, just like when me and you have talked about projects that we want to work on, it's ideas that we would enjoy. And if I'm creating a fun game idea that I want to be able to play with friends, then sue me. I don't want to be considered Friendslop if I put out a game that just so happens to have elements of another like similar style that I like.
Yeah,
and
I'm not a fan of the derogatory connotation behind the term.
Yeah.
And
it very minimizes.
That's kind of exactly what I mean when I was saying like I don't really care for the term at all, just because even like in a nice way, like, oh, let's play some Friendslop tonight, I'm gonna sidle up to the trough. I don't like the idea of calling someone's game slop, because like, you know, whether or not it's a copy paste derivative, that's kind of all up in the air. That's really, I think, the only people who should be necessarily allowed to decide that are the devs of the games, who know when they started working on their game and know what game came after their game and all that stuff. But
well, I don't know, because like people who experience the art decide how they feel about it.
That's true. That's true.
The developers, which would be like in this analogy, the artists, don't get to decide how people perceive their art.
True.
So,
that's very true. That's very true.
But it is like you said, Chase, earlier, reductive, I think.
Absolutely. I agree, because, and you know, just like I said, even in a positive light, I think just saying Friendslop is still just like referring to games as slop. And that makes me sad for people who have spent a lot of time and a lot of effort working on these things strictly for the purpose of people enjoying it.
Yeah, well, and a little bit more like on base, because I know I definitely like wide shots being fired by making the Call of Duty comparison.
Oh, I don't care.
But is games like this now being lumped into being called Friendslop, I feel like had they come out 5 years ago, wouldn't be. For example, after we got off of Peak, me and you started playing a game fully intended to be a multiple, like, grab some friends, sit down, low stakes, and just have some chicanery. Golf with your friends.
Or golf with friends?
Or golf with friends.
Yeah,
is very much a game that is, I mean, any Mario Party style game could be considered Friendslop.
Well, even you, I was going to bring this up earlier, but I missed the window for a moment. Look all the way back to, what was it called? The Contagion, COVID, Lockdown.
I almost said the plague.
Look all the way back to Lockdown, when Among Us was all the craze. Like, Among Us is similarly, I would say even more so than some of these ones we're talking about, Friendslop. Like,
yeah, well, that one, even better example than Golf with Friends, because it does actually show itself. I mean, it has an original. Yeah. Among Us is just a more like mechanics-based Town of Salem. Which is yet another, it's both of which are just a rendition of the Mafia game played around like tables.
Like the deductive
one
lying games.
People are villagers, and then you have one bad guy or two bad guys that are secret from everybody else.
Oh, gotcha.
So, yeah, I think Friendslop is just like a new way to like talk down on party games.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. So, and honestly, like you have a good point, Kelly, of even with like my use of Friendslop as I've used it so far has always been like with love.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's Friendslop.
Yeah.
But even that perpetuates the use of Friendslop, which is, I mean, verbally, like how you like define it sounds negative. So yeah. Yeah, I'm work on getting away from that.
I have an assertion. I have an idea for a term to replace Friendslop that obviously won't take off, but I might use instead.
Okay.
When we were coming up with this topic idea, however long ago we put this on our list of little topics, I think I said startling party games.
Yes.
Yes, that is exactly what you said.
Yeah. So, you know, specific more specific to games like Lethal Company, Content Warning, Repo, even Peak has some startling moments. Like, I think this specific area of games could definitely fit into the startling party game.
I agree.
Yeah.
But
SPGs, if you will.
I think
SPGs.
Friendslop is probably just going to stick because it is one
rolls
word.
off the
It rolls
tongue.
off the tongue.
It does.
It's one of those things that you're just not going to forget.
Yeah.
So, Chase, I kind of want to walk back to what you said earlier when you said that some games are being called Friendslop and they don't even necessarily fit into the category of that. Like, do you have examples of what you mean? Like, which ones?
So that's where like the lines get blurry. I have heard Sam just brought it up, but I have heard people refer to Among Us as Friendslop.
Yeah.
And that one, I was a big Town of Salem player back in the day.
I've never even heard of that one.
Oh yeah,
I don't even know what that is either.
Yeah.
But if it's similar to like
yeah.
Mafia
It's
and
literally before
Werewolf
it
or
got put
whatever.
on Steam, it was just a browser game of a bunch of people connecting. I think it was like 12 people, but it would just show like a little circle, houses for every character, and then like a hangman's like stoop in the middle. And every night, people like based on a role, if you were a villager, your nights would be pretty boring, but like certain people would have like lookout, and you would be like a good role. You would pick somebody else's house to watch, and if they were like a mafioso, whenever they picked somebody to go kill that night, you would see them leave the house. So the next day, you'd make your argument of, I saw so-and-so do this, like I'm the lookout. And then they would have their argument of like, oh, they're a liar, like they have no idea, they're just trying to get somebody killed first day, they're the bad guy.
yeah.
Whereas like Among Us took very same formula of, you know, there's a villain in our mix, let's find out who.
Yeah, the deductive reasoning
They
games.
added tasks and like there's actually I do think it like a very interesting like addition of like actively killing like the other like people instead of it just being like a like press a button, you selected that person's no longer playing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like having
Like-
to run around and like time out, like, oh, I'm gonna corner this person. Oh, somebody's walking by. Let's wait. Let's wait.
That takes me back to Trouble in Terrace Town.
Oh yeah.
Like-
See, well, and right there, that's another example. Like there are so many different like things that have existed
Yeah.
for years and have been redone into the dirt that are now like they're in the clear of being Friendslop, despite based on current definition, they're Friendslop.
Yeah. Well, and it's just that Friendslop is a term being used to just, I think, put down party games that
Yeah.
seem derivative.
I agree.
Yeah, as somebody who primarily plays single-player, story-driven narrative games, like that is my cup of tea.
Mm-hmm.
I rarely will be the one to be like, "Oh, hey, there's this new multiplayer game coming out. Like, let's get on that."
Yeah.
But it definitely feels like people from like my side of that camp are like throwing shots at just like no friends. Like this is all like this is not art. This is not a good experience because it's not Red Dead Redemption 2. I'm not crying because I just got tuberculosis. Like
Spoilers.
spoilers.
Spoiler.
Like it seems like a way for like people that want more from like story driven games to attack developers that are not even in that like sphere to begin with.
Or even just the people who like one of the other games coined as Friendslop more than
Their
Mhm.
game.
their game.
Yes. I was gonna say, yeah, me launching up Lethal. Hey, what are you guys playing tonight? Content warning? Friendslop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is like the very like Reddit.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
That's a comment that exists.
Yeah.
100%. I
I'm
wrote
over
it.
here playing the elevated peak and you're playing Lethal Company still?
Disgusting. Yeah.
Yeah, I hope that soon will, just like so many things in like the gaming space, it'll disappear as quickly as it came.
Mhm.
Not
Yeah.
the style of games, but the derision towards them.
Yeah, the Friendslop being used as a derogatory term to put down certain stuff.
Yeah, because the other thing is like from the aspect that people define Friendslop as also being like low development time cash grabs is Lethal Company is still like getting updates. I don't know when the last one was, but like I still see updates coming out for that.
Well, it's kind of like a thriving
update.
modding community as well. Like,
right,
there's a lot of stuff you can do with it if you want to keep playing.
Exactly. Like, people still clearly enjoy these. So almost by labeling things as Friendslop, you're not just like saying something about the game, you're saying something about the people that play it.
Exactly.
Yeah, well, and I think a lot of the time, like how we used it before we really thought about how it was intended.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of people probably just say it because they heard the term and they're like, oh, it's multiplayer games that I play with my friends. That's Friendslop now.
Yeah.
Like, that's just the new term for it. So I don't know. I guess it doesn't really matter too much. Games are going to come out. People can call them whatever they want. These games are going to get played by a lot of people.
Yeah.
And a lot of them, like, if they want to call them cash grabs, most of these games are cheap as hell. I don't know what they're talking about.
Yeah, I saw in my research for this people complaining, saying that, like, yeah, I mean, you think that, like, spending $10, $15 on a game's not bad, but, like, everybody has to spend that to play it together, and it's like, yeah.
Yeah, that's how games work.
Exactly. Like, or we could all spend $60, $70 in the new age to buy the new, like, whatever brand new AAA game came out together.
Well, and something that's really interesting as well, I don't know if you guys know this, you might, Sam, because I've chatted to you about this in the past, is that something that I respected so much about content warning, because I don't know why I did this, but content warning was one of the games that I actively followed the dev blog, because I was like, oh, this game is so fun. It's a super fun game. I enjoy it a lot. I was like, I want to see where they're going to take this. And something that I really, really respected about the devs of Content Warning is that they specifically said, hey, you guys absolutely blew every single expectation we had for this out of the water. This was just supposed to be a fun little brain break for us in the interim of working on a bigger project. You guys love this game. You eat it up. Thank you for playing this game, but we want to be upfront with you and let you know that we don't know if or when there are ever going to be more updates for this game. Because like we said, it's just a break from our bigger project that we're working on. And I respect the hell out of that.
Yeah.
Because that's what every consumer of a product deserves, is transparency about the project they're purchasing.
Yeah.
Consumers of a video game want to know what they're getting, not a vague promise that they may never receive.
Yeah. That transparency is so welcome.
Absolutely.
In a industry where a lot of the time there's either an oversaturation of information that ends up biting a developer in the ass, or a lack of any communication of what is going on, that kind of just leaves people wondering for longer than they might need to.
Yeah. Content Warning, unlike so many other games, was released as a full game. It was not released as an early access with a vague promise of coming to do anything with it. Because I believe they had already stated that Content Warning was not a cash grab, but was a game that they developed to help fund another project that they were working on, which I do not view that as a negative thing.
No, that's smart.
There's another game in a similar situation that I bought and I love, Fly Night, which is a like Dark Souls-esque pixel art game with, or 3D pixel art game where you play as a fly, fighting down other variations of bugs, including like wasp samurais and roly-poly like knights.
That's fun.
That sounds crazy.
And you could look at that and say, oh, it's a cash grab. They're just trying to make money for another project. But if it was really just a cash grab, why would they make it good?
Exactly.
Why would they take the time? Like, I mean, Fly Night, you can dismember like arms. Every limb can be removed to like help you in the fight.
Yeah. Well, and even if I feel like cash grab, like these games don't have in-game shops. Like, what do you mean cash grab? They're making a game. They're making it. Most of them are priced very, very fairly.
People want an indie dev to give them a 50-hour experience.
Yeah. Yeah. Without paying for it.
Right. $15 still, please. Yeah. I have kind of a off topic, but on topic for us talking about side projects.
Okay.
How do you feel about studios having a game that they are still in like, let's say, middle of a roadmap that they've like put out, announcing that they are already working on a sequel for the game.
The George R.R. Martin.
While also like continuing to say like, oh, but don't, like, we're still going to fully support this one.
Yeah, we're still gonna release the Winds of Winter. I think, I mean, it depends. I think that's a case by case basis of how successful that goes for the developer, because like I'm sure there are some, like with Content Warning, if they needed a break from whatever they were working on before, and that was what they needed to do. It also, I think, depends on how visible the development is. Like if, like you said, there's a roadmap out there for development, and then they like stop at one of the steps and wait like 6 years to get back into it, and people are literally watching it, or like games that are kickstarted and have that kind of situation go on, I think that's reprehensible. I think like being like, hey, we're gonna work on this, but not for a while.
It's coming eventually.
We're using your Kickstarter funds for something else.
That is so scummy.
Yeah. Well, I don't have any specific
I don't
examples, but
Chase, I don't really feel like I have a good answer to your question, because I don't think I've ever experienced that personally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's been on my mind. I know I got you to play for a little bit. Space Marine 2.
oh yeah, I played it twice.
They just
I'm so sorry. You bought it for me, and I squandered that.
You're fine. When I bought it for you, I told you I knew. I knew you were straight up with me. You're like, don't do it, man. I don't think it's really my kind of game. I said, I want you to experience it. It's fine.
I was like, I really think I'll be done with it after I try it.
And that's okay. Yeah. But yet they, I want to say, not even long after like the last time you got on it, they had already announced that they were like greenlit for Space Marine 3. And they hadn't even finished the first year's roadmap of updates, and now they've put out year 2's roadmap of updates, but kind of calls into question if Space Marine 3 is going to reach or exceed the same heights that Space Marine 2 did. You'd think that quite a big team being pulled that way for it, not as much of a team being left behind to continue to maintain and or create for said roadmap.
Yeah.
Who knows though? They could pull one out and it still be like heavily taken care of. I don't want to like be throwing shade where shade's not needed, but the worry's there.
Yeah.
I do think I accidentally lied to you, actually, because I still agree with what Sam said. It's definitely a case-by-case situation. This isn't even like a tit-for-tat situation where like what I have in mind completely matches your question, but I think maybe the closest I have in terms of personal experience is probably Stardew Valley and the Haunted Chocolatier. But
did he start development of the Haunted Chocolatier while Stardew Valley was in
That's why
development?
I'm saying I don't think it's necessarily comparable, because he's still actively been working on new updates for Stardew while he's been working on the Haunted Chocolatier. But, I mean, I want the Haunted Chocolatier so bad.
And you're like, hey, stop updating Stardew. Give me the new thing.
Not even that. I love Stardew. It's my favorite game of all time. I will always willingly accept Stardew updates with open arms. But I think something that has definitely made me feel significantly more patient in terms of Haunted Chocolatier, because he announced it and has been working on it for a very, very long time. Something that makes me feel specifically so much more patient with it is that Concerned Ape is always so incredibly open with the things that he is working on. And also, as someone who is a writer and experiences writer's block really badly myself, I respect the hell out of him being like, hey guys, I know you want Haunted Chocolatier. I want it too, but I can't work on it right now. Like I'm having a hard time. I cannot work on this project right now. And I really, 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 really respect that.
I actually have some maybe exciting news for you then.
New Stardew update?
Right before I came over, I just read an article. He has confirmed there is another new Stardew Valley update coming.
I know! I'm really excited!
Which I think is funny. From what my understanding is, it seems as though, you said Concerned Ape?
Uh-huh.
hitting it with the same tactic as Hello Games, the people behind No Man's Sky, with their new game is Light No Fires.
Yeah. Or Light No Fire.
Light No Fire, yes, thank you. The updates that we're getting now for No Man's Sky are essentially things to my understanding, that they are like
Working on
developing for
actively.
that game.
Oh,
So the theory I've heard for this new update is it's similar in terms of their new stuff being done for Haunted Chocolatier and making them want to go back and
Add it into
spice some
Stardew.
things into Stardew.
oh, I do love that. Because, I mean, one of the things that I was just telling Sam yesterday is I was like, man, like, and this might definitely be more of like the modding community scene, which is totally fine. I love to mod Stardew. I've played not the complete game, dear God. I don't know. It's kind of similar in terms of like, I don't know if there's like a stopping point with Stardew. It's just kind of, you keep going and you keep going. And I love to do that. But I've definitely played a ton of the vanilla base game and then added in so many mods, a disgusting amount of mods. So definitely maybe like modifying the exterior of your own house is more of like a thing you would want to do with mods. But I've got my fingers crossed, man, that this next update will be like, hey, now you can go to Robin and ask her to modify the exterior of your house if you want to. I would love that. I would really love that.
Well, and touching on the excitement for Haunted Chocolatier, is there there's not even like a rough window for the release of that game, is there?
I don't know. There are a couple of different sources that say no, and then other people say like, oh, maybe like 2027. So I'm gonna go out on a limb here and give a vague no with a question mark. I will say though, he has a very long dev blog about the Haunted Chocolatier that I think I'm gonna have to go in and do some homework on that.
Yeah. Well, in that same vein, there are a lot of good games coming out this year. One of which, as of the release of this episode, Silksong is out right now. The wait is over. We have Silksong. I assume at this point I've played it for a disgusting amount of hours, but I don't know yet because we're recording this before it comes out. But, thinking of games we're really, really looking forward to, and specifically this year, Silksong for me, I've been waiting for a long time for. I really loved Hollow Knight. I'm replaying through it again right now, and I'm not really going to go into Silksong too much because those who know what it is already have every single scrap of information they could get. But Hollow Knight is a Metroidvania game. Silksong is the once DLC turned sequel where you play as a character called Hornet, also a Metroidvania. Movement's going to be off the wall insane. Boss fights, all this stuff going to be very similar to Hollow Knight, but different twist, and definitely I'm excited. But what kind of games are you looking forward to this year, guys? Because I know the Haunted Chocolatier is probably not on that list, but there's a bunch of games coming out this year, even next month.
I have a really fun idea for our listeners and also for me, because I really want to hear your estimate of what you think. I'm dying to know how many hours of Silksong you think you will have played by the time this episode comes out.
Oh, that's a good question.
Because I agree, it's going to be disgustingly high, I think.
I honestly, we'll see if I have played it. I said that comment kind of in hyperbole. I'm not sure I'm going to have played my entire run back through Hollow Knight by the time that Silksong comes out, but that might not change the fact that I'll probably get it anyway.
It won't.
I'll make a little guess. I'll say about 25 hours.
Okay.
That's my guess. 25 hours, because by the time this comes out, this comes out on the 10th, so I'll have had Silksong for 6 days, the 4th being the first day. So yeah, I don't know, probably like 25 hours. That's my guess.
Yeah, I think that's probably a pretty decent guess.
Well, you guys should guess. You guys should guess how many hours I have too.
Oh,
this is a little game now.
How long? Okay, how long will you? When does Silksong release?
The 4th, September 4th.
And this episode is going to come out.
This episode's going to be out on the 10th. So
I'm going to say 42 hours.
42 hours.
Dude,
okay.
you just got a Steam Deck and we have a comfortable mattress.
That's
it's going to
true.
be high. It's going to be higher than you think. I can almost guarantee it.
We'll see.
I'm gonna split the difference. I'm gonna say probably like 34 hours.
All right. Well, we have our bets. I said 25. You
I
guys
said
both overshot that.
Oh, I know you.
Yeah.
We're engaged. I know you.
We'll see what happens. I mean, I can rig the system because I can just play 25 hours.
That is so cheating.
So I'm just gonna stop myself at 24:59.
I will stare at you and go, I know what you're doing right now.
I probably won't remember this. As soon as it comes out, I'll have blacked out this memory. But yeah, I've been excited for Silksong for a while. It's been in development for 7 years or whatever. You know, all of the funny things about people waiting to hear about Silksong. But I'm sure there are more games coming out. So what games are you guys looking forward to this year?
For me, I haven't looked too far into what's all coming out this year, but I know for sure this week something very interesting is coming out. Going to be, at the time of recording, overshadowing Silksong for me. Because I don't know. I'm glad everybody's finally getting their payoff for the hype, but I'm not one of those people. I am anxiously awaiting Chronos: The New Dawn. Seems aesthetically very Dead Spacey, maybe a little BioShock thrown in. And then outside of that, I'm not going to lie, Silent Hill F comes out, I believe the 23rd of this month. And
Oh, yeah.
I'm ready to eat that up.
Like I said before in one of our other podcasts, you're a spooky boy.
I'm a spooky boy. And I think a lot of people out there can agree Silent Hill just holds a special place in my heart. And I can't even go out into the fog on a normal day without it crossing my mind.
Oh, man.
So I need my fix. The Silent Hill 2 remake was a good little appetizer, but I'm ready for an entirely new story.
Yeah.
I would love to play it, but I think unfortunately if I even purchased it, it would end up in my dynamic Steam collection I have named lovingly Games That Will Make Me Cry with Fear.
No, that's a dynamic collection.
Oh boy, is it ever. Games that I'm excited for. There's one that is expected in winter of this year, and this is for my cozy game lovers, the the people who played the Nintendo games Dogs and Cats with Z's at the end. This game looks pretty similar to that. It's called Witchbrook, and it's kind of Stardew Valley cozy themed, but it's all about like you go to this magic school, and yes, they did announce that, you know, passing exams is involved in this game, which I am very weirdly excited for.
You just got me weirdly excited.
I'm so excited for it. You have to go to magic school and like pass exams to get further in the game, and I really want to do that.
That sounds fun as hell.
Well, and it's co-op with some friends. I already have a group of friends together. Like we're all like, hey, we're playing Witchbrook together, right? Hey. Are you playing Witchbrook with me when it comes out? And we're all like, yeah, I'm playing Witchbrook when it comes out.
We might have to jump into that.
I was gonna say I'm not gonna lie. I was a really big fan of Rockstar's Bully back in the day, and I loved getting to actually go to classes.
Yeah.
So Stardew Valley meets Bully with some magic sprinkled in. Let's go.
That'd be
Yeah.
fun.
Another weird one that I have, and it doesn't have an announced release date. I'm excited for Bartender Simulator.
Ayo.
And it looks, I don't know, it looks like it might not be super up my alley, but I love games like that. Like there's this game called Bartender Hustle that I absolutely love, where you get to serve customers drinks. I mean, you know, that's pretty much it. You mix drinks, and it's not very realistic. My bartender friend gets mad every time I play it. He's like, why would you shake that? That would make it so foamy. It would lose the carbonation. He cracks me up. Love him. Bartender Simulator looks like it's gonna be super into the weeds of like, you have to cut this lime the exact right way.
Oh, God.
You cannot
I would hate
overmeasure
that.
this. Yeah, so I'm like on the fence. I'm excited about it, but there's also a decent chance that it's gonna make me really pissed.
Another one that I'm looking forward to is Cairn, a survival climbing game where you have to manage your resources as you summit the mountain. As you climb up, you have to worry about your food. You have to worry about temperature, I believe, energy, like all this stuff. I played the demo, and after you get to the top of the mountain in the demo, you get a nice little like zoom out, and it shows you your entire path up the mountain. I think we talked about this a while ago, but
Oh, that's fun.
yeah, so I'm excited for that. It's definitely a different game, a different take on a climbing game, a survival climbing game. But yeah, I'm excited to see what that full experience is like. And that comes out in November. That's November 5th. So
I'll have to keep that one on my radar.
Mm-hmm.
well, my friends, I think that has been this episode of Resync. If you made it to the end, thank you for listening. If you like what you heard, you can follow us at ResyncCast on Blue Sky. That's ResyncCast. And you can find Resync on Spotify, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, and Amazon Music.
Thank you guys so much for letting me be your first guest. This has been a super fun time.
Thank you for coming on.
Yeah,
It's been
thanks
a
for
great,
being here.
great
I love
time.
to yap with my friends, especially about games.
Hell yeah.
If you're feeling really generous, go ahead and leave us a rating and share us around with your friends if you feel so inclined.
We would really appreciate that. But until next time, bye.
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 Synchronization complete.